For example, if you think that you don't like President Kagame of Rwanda because you think what should happen in Rwanda is supposed to be dependent on you, on your views, on your decisions, and yet you are from outside, anybody from outside, whether you like me or you don't like me. The President Kagame is here as the president of Rwanda, as a business of Rwandans. It's their business. If they want Kagame, they will have him. If they don't want him, they remove him. Doesn't matter whether it's actually very difficult, next to impossible, to imagine that you don't like Kagame, so you will change him and put there someone you want. It's impossible.
The leader of Rwanda and the leader of the Democratic Republic of Congo. It's an historic moment, I think. President Tshisekedi has been in this country, and I know he's had detailed discussions with you, Mr. President. And I think this bodes well. People are taking it as a very positive signal about the prospects for regional integration across Africa. And also stabilization. Now, this year we are celebrating 20 years of the East African community, but we also have to mark and commemorate a much more somber event, the genocide in Rwanda in 1994. In less than a week's time, I believe people from around the world and your own citizens will be marking that. And I know at the same time, the people of Congo have also lost millions of people since the depredations of the 19th century, the looting expeditions and the effects of colonialism. And more recently, over the last 25 years, we've seen a succession of wars in the country which have debilitated Congo and have caused deep personal tragedy to that country and debilitated its capacity to generate its economy. So I think at this critical time, I wanted to get straight to this issue. You have, the two of you have sat down to talk about integration and stabilization. And I know you, President Tshisekedi, as part of your election campaign, said that your job as president is to end armed groups, the militias that have preyed on the Congolese people for so long, and close them down in Congo and usher in a new era of peace and stability. Now, could I first ask you, as a host, President Kagame, you've heard President Tshisekedi's promises to his own people, and I'm sure you've discussed this. And for many years, we've had this recurring problem of militia activity, particularly in eastern Congo, but across the country. I wondered what your government and your network within the East African community can do to deal with this problem.
Well, thank you. First of all, I'm very glad that we have President Tshisekedi with us from the beginning in this forum, and it means a lot to us in Rwanda. I'm guest to the attendees of the forum and everyone. But to the point, I think you described it well from the start, how the problems, the tragedies of this region, whether it is Rwanda's or DRC's or generally the region, the tragedy we have seen in the many years past, are going to be overcome by not blame game, pointing fingers at each other, internal, external, because let's face it, you gave it a history that dates back into colonial times.
Yes.
That is a fact, it's real. It feeds into the other failures we experienced of our own,
Yes.
meaning the African societies, leaders, across the board. So all that we've known, we've experienced, we've gone through, and I think so it suffices that today we look at the real way of getting forward and moving forward and finding solutions to the many problems instead of that. So, but it comes to a number of things, including what are our politics like? How are our people, the people of Rwanda, DRC, the region, the continent, being transformed? What is it that we can do together to actually bring about the transformation that we want, that has a meaning to our people? And we can't be thinking about that without thinking of all these kinds of root causes and the current causes of continued instability in different parts of our region, yes. Whether it is DRC or my country or other countries around. So the most important thing is, do we have leaders with this kind of good politics ready to work for our own people and bring them to participate? The citizens must participate in these things that in the end result into addressing these problems. We must also have leaders who are ready to cooperate, to work with each other. Because my problems in Rwanda, in many cases, end up being problems of DRC and the people of DRC, and vice versa. So we can't address that without cooperation, without working together, without really touching on the real root causes and the real issues of the day that we have to address. And there are possibilities with us, many opportunities to be able to actually address some of the things ourselves. Yeah. There are inefficiencies, there is lack of resources and many things, but we have sufficient resources within ourselves, among ourselves, to actually call upon to deal with these matters. So that is where I would begin and start the discussion from. And President Tshisekedi has come forward. As you said, the many expressions he has made, the commitments he has made to his own people and to the people in the region, we have to believe him until we so we really have to start with that.
Yes.
We believe him and we extend our hand of cooperation to him as he does, he is to us, and we see how far we can go.
So you think we're talking about a new era?
Absolutely. That's what I see, and let's test it and see where it takes us.
Monsieur le Président, can I get you to set out your views on this? Because, as I said, you did make this commitment, as a solemn commitment, on behalf of your party, the UDPS, to shut down these militias. So far in your discussions with President Kagame, do you feel too that we're at the start of a new era of cooperation in the region?
Bien, merci. Je remercie au passage les organisateurs de m'avoir fait cet honneur. Nous partons toujours chez nous dans notre entendement sur un principe. C'est celui selon lequel nos pays resteront voisins pour toute la vie. Et nous ne sommes que des acteurs spontanés. Nous passons à un moment donné, mais nos pays resteront voisins. Et donc, se faire la guerre, entretenir des tensions inutiles, cela, c'est du temps, c'est une perte de temps, en fait. Une perte de temps que nous aurions pu mettre à profit pour bâtir, reconstruire. Et donc, pour cela, nous devons déjà nous parler, nous parler franchement, ce que nous avons fait, le président Kagame et moi. Et j'ai senti, je dois le dire, de sa part, une volonté d'aller de l'avant, une volonté qui peut se mesurer par ce qu'on voit déjà comme réalisation ici même au Rwanda. Donc on sent que c'est une personne qui est tournée vers le développement plutôt que vers les conflits inutiles et les tensions à répétition. Et ça, c'est exactement ce que je cherche comme partenariat. Alors, à propos des groupes armés, il y a un constat. Ce sont devenus aujourd'hui des petits groupes d'intérêts mesquins, bien sûr. Ce ne sont plus des gens qui se battent pour une idéologie ou pour une raison stratégique quelconque. Ce sont devenus, on va les appeler ainsi, mais sans vraiment qu'ils méritent cette appellation, sont devenus des hommes d'affaires, véreux, mais bon, hommes d'affaires quand même, parce que leurs petites bagarres, leurs petites actions portent plus sur de l'enrichissement personnel, du positionnement par rapport à certaines mines, etc. Donc, manifestement, c'est la situation sociale qui les a amenés dans cette activité. Donc, il faut les sortir de là, il faut un programme de démobilisation et ensuite de réinsertion dans la vie sociale, de la vie de tous les jours. Et ça, nous sommes en train d'y travailler, et également même avec les partenaires au développement, pour aller ensemble dans ce sens de les décourager dans cette activité et de les mettre ailleurs. C'est vrai qu'à part, à côté de ça, il y a encore quelques groupes assez inquiétants qui sont, eux, d'ordre idéologique. Je pense ici aux islamistes qui se cachent derrière cette appellation d'ADF. Ben ça, évidemment, c'est une autre histoire qui demandera la collaboration, la coopération entre nos pays respectifs. Et donc, tout cela, c'est pour amener nos pays à se tourner vers ce que nous avons en commun. Ici, je dis au passage, le lac Kivu, par exemple, nous offre une énorme potentialité de gaz que nous pouvons exploiter afin, comme énergie évidemment, afin de booster notre industrie dans la région. Je pense au barrage de la Ruzizi, que nous pouvons faire, le Burundi, le Rwanda et la RDC, afin évidemment d'aller sur ce genre de choses. Et ensuite, nous pourrons diversifier notre économie parce que ces peuples vivent ensemble depuis des siècles et continueront de vivre ensemble. Donc il y a déjà plein de choses qu'ils font qui demandent à être structurées davantage. Voilà dans le sens dans lequel nous nous inscrivons pour évidemment ramener la paix d'une part et le développement d'autre part.
Thank you. Monsieur le Président, in the last week you've been doing some shuttle diplomacy. You've been in Luanda visiting President João Lourenço. You've been in Kampala visiting President Museveni, and now you're here with us in Rwanda. You talked about the way in which these regional conflicts exacerbate tensions within the region. And some of them, in fact, a lot of them have been played out in Congo. Now on Monday, President Kagame referred to the dispute between Rwanda and Uganda as a political matter. And I think part of that matter does seem to be connected with Congo and certainly historical, a historical connection with Congo. And I'm just wondering whether we can use this moment with you two leaders together to make a plea to end this logjam because of the damage it's doing to the sort of continental economic integration we want to see, and also the danger that we could see a dysfunction at a political and a security level. Would it help if this conference made a call for a regional summit between yourselves and President Museveni to try and resolve this security impasse that the region seems to be facing at the moment? If you could say, represent what President Museveni thinks about this, that would help us all, I think.
Bien. Évidemment, lorsqu'on est responsable d'un des pays de la région, on ne peut manquer aborder cela avec son homologue. Je l'ai fait avec le président Kagame et également avec le président Museveni. Mais vous me permettrez de garder secret les conversations que nous avons eues. Ce n'est pas le lieu ni le moment d'en parler. Mais je reste convaincu, pour avoir entendu les deux personnalités, que c'est un passage difficile, un moment à passer qui est difficile, mais que nous n'irons pas jusqu'à l'escalade de la violence entre nos deux pays. De toutes les façons, la RDC est là, elle offre ses bons offices pour le cas où il y a certaines difficultés que nous pourrions éventuellement aplanir. Parce que notre vision, elle est celle de construire des ponts entre nous et non des murs. Voilà.
Thank you. President Kagame, can I get your views on this?
Yes, my views are that if problems like these would be solved by summits, we wouldn't be having any problem at all. We have had many summits.
With little progress.
With little or no progress. But on the serious side, you see, we want to be serious with matters of stability, of development, and we can't achieve that without, as I said earlier on, without cooperation, without working together, without really focusing on the common interests of our countries, of our people, which we should be representing. At the same time, it's unfortunate that some of these serious matters, even efforts we all try to put in, are undermined by petty things, like, for example, if you think that you don't like President Kagame of Rwanda because you think what should happen in Rwanda is supposed to be dependent on you, on your views, on your decisions, and yet you are from outside. This is bad politics. And it characterizes some of the things we have had to deal with. And we have openly stated that it doesn't matter anybody from outside, whether you like me or you don't like me. The President Kagame is here as the president of Rwanda, as a business of Rwandans. It's their business. If they want Kagame, they will have him. If they don't want him, they remove him. Doesn't matter whether. And I have told some of these friends of ours that it's actually very difficult, next to impossible, to imagine that you don't like Kagame, so you will change him and put there someone you want. It's impossible. But people don't want to hear that. So, therefore, as President Tshisekedi said, it suffices if we chose to concentrate on things that matter to us as individual countries, as well things that matter to all of us together, working together. And then put aside some of these other issues. I think it's the kind of politics that In fact, the problem you earlier again mentioned about Rwanda and Uganda, yes, there is a small component, just in terms of happening, that brings in the DRC.
Yes.
But the root cause of misunderstandings between our two countries, Rwanda and DRC, which are supposed to be really brotherly countries. By any
The worst quarrels are often within the families, aren't
Absolutely.
they? Yeah.
But I think it must come to a point where the family must sit and realistically resolve these issues.
But if not summits, I take your point. So as a journalist, I've attended many pointless summits in my life. But if not summits, what? I mean, close bilateral consultations. I know your foreign minister has been very clear on your position on the issue. Equally, the foreign minister of Uganda has set out. What mechanisms do you see in place to resolve this?
Continuing to talk about our problems, because I think we exhaust the kind of logic of continuing to undermine each other and come to a point where we find the best thing is to cooperate and work together and accept each other.
Right.
Or to say the least, if we can't work together as brothers, sisters, as friends, we can decide to give each other peace and forget about what we have to do together, but above all, avoid quarrels that may just be destructive, because no one would win or benefit from any serious quarrel about this. So, but if we forget one another and let each, go about their businesses the way they want, that would be the second choice.
Yes.
Second to being good friends and working together and so on.
In a spirit of cooperation.